And World Bank has issued a warning for Pakistan economy. World Bank said Pakistan needs around $17 billion to cover rising current account deficit and debt payments in the year 2018. Pakistan is also facing a rise macroeconomic management at risk. Well, this has resulted in increased external financing needs of 5 to 6% of GDP in financial year 2018, or around $17 billion to cover rising current account deficit and debt payments. Pakistan has done well in stabilizing its economy over the past 4 years and in achieving 10-year high growth of 5.3% in FY17. And from Pakistan to Greece, where recession is coming. Green economy has faced recession last year and is still not out of woods yet. Greece economy contracted by 0.2% last year. Head of Statistics Service said yesterday, recession in Greek economy. The agency said that the economy has faced recession last year. And economy contracted by 0.2% in 2016. Economy also performed worse than expected. And the economic growth projection was cut down to 1.8% from 2.7%. And among other things in Europe, the uncertainties over Brexit has now hit UK car demand. New registration of cars in European Union have come down markedly in recent weeks. Fresh figures show that particularly UK auto market is going through a rough patch, and Brexit fears have impacted EU car sales. Around 1.43 million vehicles were registered last month compared to 1.46 million vehicles that were registered in September 2017. German car sales have decreased by 3.3%, and Italy and Spain, the other two big economies, however, have bucked the trend. Volkswagen, the German car major, has remained the market leader with 23.5% market share. The UK auto market is going through a rough patch amid Brexit-linked uncertainty. Sales in Germany decreased 3.3%, and Italy and Spain have bucked the trend. France Renault has lost a 10.3% share between January and September. And European plane maker Airbus said it would acquire a majority stake in Bombardier's C-Series program in a deal that Canadian plane and train makers said would boost sales and position the company have against a potentially costly US trade dispute with Boeing. So Airbus and Bombardier deal, Bombardier will own about 31% in the entity. Airbus will own a majority. Investissement Quebec will hold 19%. This company belongs to Quebec province in Canada. And the deal, which would come at no cost for Airbus, will also provide Airbus warrants exercisable to acquire up to 100 million Class B shares of Bombardier. The deal comes amid a trade dispute with US rival Boeing over the C-Series jet. US government has slapped steep anti-subsidy duties on sales of C-Series jets over that dispute. Airbus will provide procurement, sales and marketing and customer support expertise to C-Series program. And British PM Theresa May and European Commissioner have agreed over dinner in Brussels yesterday that pace of negotiations over Britain's departure from EU should be stepped up. A joint statement described a constructive and friendly 2-hour meeting during which both leaders reviewed progress made in Article 50 negotiations so far and agreed that these efforts should accelerate over the months to come. Now, both sides have been calling for a faster pace of talks as time ticks down to Britain's withdrawal from the EU in March 2019, and businesses warn that without clarity on what happens next, they may start switching investments early next year.
Controlled, legal and safe migration benefits our economies.
And as the race for appointing new US Fed chairperson intensifies, US President Donald Trump will meet with Federal Reserve current chairman Janet Yellen on Thursday as part of his search for a new candidate for her position. So White House Chief of Staff John Kelly said on Thursday, Trump is having some time still. So search for new US Fed chairman has begun. There are few people in the race. Kevin Walsh, a former Fed governor, is also in race. Trump's top economic advisor Jerry Cohn also among the probables that can join Fed. US Fed Chair Janet Yellen's term is expiring in Feb next year. And Donald Trump told reporters late last month he had met with 4 candidates to lead the US central bank and would make a decision over the next 2 or 3 weeks. Kelly's remarks suggest a somewhat longer time frame. A new Fed chair would take the helm as central bank eases well away from crisis-era policies in response to a strengthening economy and falling unemployment, though inflation still lingers below Fed's 2% goal. Under Yellen, the Fed has raised interest rates and launched a plan to shrink its $4.5 trillion balance sheet, much of which was accumulated through a bond buying program that Yellen said helped economy avert an even deeper downturn. Coming back to news from global auto space, among the spate of global recalls, German luxury car maker Mercedes is going for a massive recall now. Mercedes is recalling 400,000 cars in UK owing to a fault that may deploy an airbag by error. So Mercedes is recalling 400,000 cars in UK. The cars have been recalled for an airbag bus fault. The cars are A, B, C and E class, which will be recalled. And CLA, GLA and GLC will be recalled too. And the cars are built between November 2011 and July 2017. And a statement issued by a car maker owned by Daimler said the situation was not linked to airbags crisis at Japanese group Takata. The statement, however, did not specify how many cars would be recalled, but company later confirmed 400,000 vehicles were concerned. Mercedes said the driver airbag warning light and red airbag warning lamp could be displayed by error. It added that in rare circumstances, a vehicle could inadvertently deploy driver's airbag. The car manufacturer said affected customers would be contacted about having their car recalled and repaired. And coming to Indian stories, let's begin with the Diwali story. The Diwali witnesses a massive decline, this time in sale of Chinese goods in India. 1 year ago, city markets during Diwali were swamped by Chinese goods. But this year, Chinese products like lights, gift items, lamps and wall hangings, among other items, might witness a decline by 40 to 45% in terms of sale. The fall will happen because of references of Indian handmade products that are being preferred by Indians over the Chinese goods. Reasons for slump is also being attributed to anti-China sentiments which were triggered due to Doklam standoff. Now, according to an estimate, value of Chinese goods sold in 2016 during Diwali was around $1 billion, out of which around $0.7 billion was for products such as toys, fancy gifts, lights, items, plasticware and other items. Customers are displaying interest in local products, including diyas. In past few years, there was a huge demand for made in China fancy lights, and when it comes to Chinese products, once sold, no shopkeeper gives a guarantee. And India's largest airline, Indigo, has announced it would expand its regional market by starting operations with its brand new ATR turboprop planes from Hyderabad on December 21st. Announcement comes 5 months after airline made public its intent to buy 50 ATR turboprop planes worth $1.3 trillion to tap the regional aviation market. So Indigo will boost regional connectivity with ATRs, and Tirupati and Rajahmundry will be connected with these aircraft. Indigo is participating in second round of regional connectivity as well. India's largest airline, Indigo, has signed a term sheet with Aviance de Transport Regional for the purchase. The airline has also launched introductory fares starting at Rs 999 on these new routes. Indigo will also begin ATR operations in its existing network of Chennai, Bangalore, Mangalore, Madurai and Nagpur. 74-seater aircraft ATR will also operate to two new Tier 2 cities of Tirupati and Rajahmundry. Indigo is also expected to participate in the second round of regional connectivity scheme, which aims to enhance air connectivity to Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities with fares capped at Rs 2,500 per hour or around $40. And the charm for moving overseas has waned in India as political uncertainty abroad, coupled with Brexit, has spurred highly skilled Indian talent to stay at home to look for employment. As per a recent data released by global job site Indeed, there has been a 38% decrease in Indians looking to move to US and 42% decrease in Indians eyeing for UK in the last year. The prospect of Brexit is likely to have deterred Indian job seekers looking for an opportunity in the UK, as countries such as Germany and Ireland have seen an increase in Indians actively looking for jobs. The decrease in number of Indians looking to move abroad also extends to Gulf. This has been evidenced by 21% decrease in searches to UAE. Now, despite the declining figures, the US still tops list of countries that Indians would like to migrate to, with 49% of Indians willing to explore job opportunities there. And India is planning an incentive package of more than 16,000 crore rupees or around $0.25 million to revive exports amid slowdown in domestic market and competition in exports. Reports say Commerce Minister of India Suresh Prabhu is said to have written a letter to Finance Minister Arun Jaitley to make a prompt decision on issues affecting exports, such as insufficient incentives and lack of credit facility. In consultation with various stakeholders, Prabhu has suggested various other measures, including allowing scrips received under merchandise exports from India scheme to be used to pay goods and services tax, increasing incentive rates and interest subsidy rates for labour-intensive sectors, reducing the GST rate on MEIS, SEIS, and infusing more capital in Export Credit Guarantee Corporation of India. Reports said the Finance Minister would need to take a call on the incentives sought to give a fillip to exports. The midterm review of foreign trade policy, which has been delayed, should be announced without any delay. That's been said as well. And investments in India's infrastructure space is increasing. National Investment and Infrastructure Fund, NIIF of India, has signed an investment agreement worth $1 billion with the wholly owned unit of Abu Dhabi Investment Authority, or ADIA. Now, as part of partnership agreement, ADIA will become the first institutional investor in NIIF's master fund and a shareholder in National Investment and Infrastructure. NIIF's investment management company was set up in 2015 as an investment vehicle for funding commercially viable greenfield, brownfield and stalled projects in the infra sector. Now, NIIF will invest in areas such as energy, transportation, housing, water waste management and other infra-linked sectors in India. The corpus of the fund is proposed to be around $1 billion, now with the government investing 49% and the rest to be raised from third-party investors such as sovereign wealth funds, insurance and pension funds, endowments, etc. ADIA has been an active investor in India's space as far as infra is concerned. And as India finalizes the privatization process of national carrier Air India, it would prefer selling it to state-owned domestic buyer. Reports said earlier this year, India has said it would sell its stake in loss-making Air India, but it has yet to decide what to do with the carrier's debt burden of $8.5 billion. Government is mulling selling the airline's various businesses, which include ground handling, domestic operations and international flights as well in parts.